Hey folks, Rob here bringing another video from our D-Day commemoration. This is my second one. I'm going to be posting this on June 7th when the action actually happened. This is going to be Confusion Reigns, ASL scenario number 12. Um, it originally came in Paratrooper, but it's now part of the Yanks module. And I've no doubt it's been updated. It says so on the card. I don't know what the early versions have, but as of Yank's latest printing, this is what you get. Now, it's designed by Don Greenwood. Interesting scenario. It's three half boards, and what we have is the Germans setting up in the center. They actually have to set up within X5. They actually have to set up within 4 hexes of X5, and you cannot have more than one squad per hex. The reason being is that in the early parts of the 7th of June, the 82nd Airborne was doing some reconnaissance. Lieutenant Ray, leader of Company D, 505, stumbled upon a headquarters group from the German side, and it basically killed them all. And that meant that the Germans were extremely disorganized. Now, this, as I said, is an interesting scenario for a couple of reasons. One is the Americans win by killing at least 12 and having at least twice as many as the Germans. So a minimum of 12, and they must have at least twice as many as the Germans. Squad counts are the same. We both have 12, but except 467s versus 747s. They're going to lose out on the firepower. These guys, if they're adjacent to you in the assault advancing fire phase, will be firing out 8s. So it's a bit of a discrepancy, 8 to 4. However, that's what it is. And the town itself, Ste Marie, is located down here, and some of it's rolled into board 24. Americans set up on board 1, and they go first. And they also get a 1 movement factor bonus, given the aggressive reconnaissance that Lieutenant Ray did. And the objective is to kill as many Germans as possible, whereas the Germans have a choice. They can stay and fight against overwhelming firepower, or they can start retreating, because every unbroken German exited off the north edge doesn't count as CVP. So if the Germans can get their whole force off, then great, they'll win by default. But it's not going to happen because, as you can see, these no move counters under everything. You can only move as many MMC as the turn number, and any squads stacked with a leader. Now again, you can only set up 1 German squad per hex. So I have my 2 leaders here in the front, and this guy here. These are going to be my first 3. They're the only ones that can move. And they move after the Americans do. So I'm going to have to make that choice. Do I start retreating backwards? Just send the units back quickly as possible. The leaders will leapfrog their way back eventually and be able to make it out. But it's very difficult because this is a lot of open terrain. Americans have set up 2 mortars here, and they have 2 spotters up on a 2nd level. So they're going to see over all this terrain. There is a level 2 building right here on top of a level 1. So this is the only blind spot, but they can see everything else. And there's also an American firebase, 2 mediums, that's going to be able to see over that as well. So once once the Germans make it to this area, they're still going to be decimated. Yeah, it'll be long range, but with a -2 leader, it's still going to be something. Now, for this scenario, I've set up a platoon of Americans here. Their job is basically going to be to cut off. They're going to come this way and try and intercept any Germans that start moving. So that's the general layout for the Germans and for the Americans. Game lasts 9 turns, which is a lot of time, so I could see a lot of initial fighting followed by a retreat. But as I said at the beginning, interesting because of the choices the German player has to make. Now, in this case, I've set up in defense in depth, because if I sit here in the front hexes, even these orchards here, with American 60mm mortar firing into the woods, that's death. So I can't really set up in front, and the buildings are inconveniently placed. There's a 1.5 here that I could set up in, but again, I'll just get blasted with an MG, or set up in the low ground here to the north, except again, you can only move 1 squad per number of the turn, as well as whatever leaders are stacked with them. So again, going to be an interesting little scenario. Now there's four ESR or SSRs we have to worry about. The first one is ECR moderate, no wind at start, which means that I do have the option of setting fire to the woods. That might not be a bad choice, but the problem is, again, is Americans are going to move first. I could start a fire back here, but I think that would have limited use, and it might end up trapping my Germans. They have to come here to the low ground, or they're going to get shot up again. So I don't think burning the forest is going to be a viable option. The second SSR is the one we talked about. This is the one that the Germans hate because you cannot move more good order MMC during the movement phase than the current turn number, plus one per leader. They have to start the movement phase stacked, and it can only be one MMC per leader. So I cannot just fall back and make my stacks bigger. I can only ever activate one MMC. So it's going to be interesting. And again, because of Lieutenant Ray's effective scouting, the Americans get an extra move. So this guy here is going to be able to CX and go 9 hexes, which is crazy. And lastly, voluntary break is NA because that's just a cheesy way of breaking units and having them retreat to the north. So I think that's enough of that. Snipers are 3 for both, and Americans have a 5 ELR and the Germans have a 3. So it's going to be interesting for the Germans. Let's see what it looks like. All right, so let's get into this first turn here. Now, the American mortars, there are 60s, as we said, ridiculously long range, and they are capable of firing white phosphorus in 45, so 44, so I'm lucky I won't be able to fire any white phosphorus so far. But again, with the -1 air burst for firing into woods, it's going to be death for that. So let's start off with a wind change die roll. Okay, we got a 7, so no wind change. Now we can go into prep fire. I don't think I want to break any squads down. There is an option to break into some of these guys down, and then I can always try and run them forward, bust this up, this concealment, put them in the advance. I mean, there's an argument to be made for that. I do have my 2 squads here broken down into half squads, just so that I can have 2 spotters for 2 of my mortars. So I could do that with this guy, break him down, but I could also fire on these 2 locations. If I don't fire, then they're going to move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be half firepower. It would be on a 6. And it is a wooden house, so I do have an 8 neg 1, so it would be on the 6 up 1. I think I can fire these guys. So let's do that. We'll do a 6 up 1 onto this location here. 7 on the 6 is going to be a morale check right off the bat. And he broke. Okay. That worked out pretty good. Alright, so that's going to be it for shooting. Nothing else can see. There is a long range shot here, maybe even here. But again, with all the woods, blind hexes, there would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a blind hex plus a blind hex. Now you would subtract a blind hex because this is a level 2. No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't start subtracting until this guy was a level 3. Or if he was on the roof. Because it has to be greater than 1 level higher than the intervening terrain. So I got to be in a level 3 to see over this and reduce a blind hex for U5. So that shot's not going to happen. So I guess I'm just going to put these guys on... not even op fire, they just have to wait. Mortars, again, I'm not going to fire any smoke, there's not much point. Yeah, let's go to move. Alright, first things first, we're going to CX this guy here. Now we're going to fire the squad at that same location. So this is going to be a 14. So on the 12 up 1. 9 on the 12 would be an NMC, which he passes, no problem. And that's going to be it for defensive fire. I could fire a long range 2 shot. I may as well, I guess. Yeah, let's fire a 2. 2 flat. 5 on the 2 should be a NMC. Yep. And American Sniper. No. Alright, advancing fire. Now I do have a 4. You're going to fire 2 firepower up 1 to here. So that cowers. So that's going to be a 5 on the 1, which is a pinning task check. So that's not going to be enough to DM them. I probably should have fired on these guys here. I would have been adjacent. So that's going to be it for the fire phases. Now we have the routes. Attacker first. I have nothing on the German side that has to move. And on the American side, you guys have to move. So U9 will be the destination. That's 1, 2, 3. Let's stop there. You guys would have DM'd. No, you wouldn't. You guys are fine where you are. And you guys will have to come to W6 and then X6. And then we have the advance phase. We'll come there, so that will DM these guys. And I can start cutting this guy off as well. We'll come forward here. And that's fine there. Alright. No concealment gain for the Germans, so we'll be into the turn 4. Wouldn't change. And we have 1 self-rally. Let's do one of you. Nope. Stay DM. This comes off. And then we have this guy here. He needs a 3. He gets it. So he's effectively a 7-0, which means this guy now gets the tree bonus, which is a 9 for rally terrain, and down 5. So 5 or less. No. Alright, prep fire. We're going to do a 4 down 1. 5 on the 4 is a 1 check. Alright. We exceeded morale, so we're going to be finally ELR'd. And broken. Now, again, I don't have rate on my mediums. Mortars, can we do anything? Not with a building in the way, and we cannot see that. Here we need to fire, so we're going to fire the bazooka into here. So again, that'll be a +1 on from 9, so I need an 8 or less to hit. That is a hit, not critical, so it's going to be on the 8. And an 8 on the 8's an NMC, so the 9-1. Oh, breaks. And the 4-6-7 is now pinned because of that. So that was good. Now I think I'm going to spray fire 6 up 1 into both locations. Yeah, let's fire 6 up 1 in both locations. So 9 on the 6 is going to be a miss, unfortunately. Alright, let's go to move. Now I have to be where this will be a death zone. if I pop smoke into Z9, I could make it to Y9. This would be 2. This would be 3. Um, 2 plus 2 would be 4 is 6. So I'd have to CX. I'm going to pop smoke into Z9, which goes off. That's for 2. This would be for 4. And I may as well shoot you guys. Let's fire group. Now let's get 2 shots. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be on the 8, up 1. 10 on the 8's a miss, no rate. And here will be on the 6, up 1. 7 on the 6 is an NMC, which he passes. And again, no rate. So you guys are first fired as well. And you guys can continue on your way now to Y9 for a total of 6 moves. So 2 for the smoke, 2 to move into the smoke, and then another 2 to move into the building. So now you can move. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll come here for 1.5. You're going to CX 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. All right, I do have my cutoffs in place, which means the Germans are going to have to stay and fight now. Unfortunately, they all seem to be broken. All right, so you're my savior right now. Let's not do that. 1, bypass, 2, 3, 4. You would have had concealment from your turn to move. Yeah, let's go. So 1, 2, 3. Or bypass 2 around this wood. 3, 4 into that location. All right, that's going to be it. Let's go defensive fire. What do we have? I've already got you. Let's fire a Panzer Shrek into the woods. So it's going to be the same as the other one. It'll be 9, down 1. It'll be an 8 or less to hit. So that's going to be a hit. No rate of fire with these. And it's going to be on the 12 flat. So 5 on the 12 will be a 3. 2 check. 2 check for the 747, which will again be disrupted. Or I should say 2 broken half squads. Now we can fire 4 firepower. Let's fire group with these guys here. So this is going to be 6. This will be 8. So it'll be on the 16 column up 1. 8 on the 16 should be a 2 or 1. 1 check. All right. So the first half squad and the second half squad. So those guys are in fact gone. Not looking good for the Americans. Advancing fire, I don't have any. Route phase. You guys will continue your route to this location. You don't have to move. You don't have to move now. You can stay where you are. Do I want to move you though? No, you're fine. And then we'll go advance phase. Close combat, none, and then we have turn 4 for the Germans. Let's do wind change. We have a 4, we're getting there, but no wind change. Desperation morale is going to impact the self rally. But let's do this here. We need a 3. Nope. And then this leader here needs a 5, which he gets. And the thunder rolls. All right. Let's go to this guy here. Now, these guys are desperate, so that's going to be a 9, down 4 will be a 5. So 1, 2, and then you need a 9. Yeah. Well, so this is turn 4. Americans have already lost 3 CVP because of stupidity. I don't think there's any way that the Americans can recover this. So we're going to call this one a German win. And we're going to try this again. All right, let's try this again. So I did a slight modification. Right now I have 2 half squads with the mediums. I do have an extra squad I can now throw into the mix. So let's put them with this A1 because they're going to be trucking. And I'm still going to have a cutoff that comes around the back. Now another choice is to put them in C8. This will give me a shot into that location. So that might be a better spot. I could also come right up to Z7. This would be 1, 2, bypass 3, bypass 4, 5, 6 into Y8. And then it could advance and stay concealed into Y7. Yeah, that's what we'll do. All right, so let's start here. Okay, I think we're set with the Americans. German setup are going to be the same. It worked very effectively on the first try, so let's do this again. Again, just a reminder, we want to keep the, I think I should be up on the second level. We want to keep out of the line of fire of the American firepower. And so setting up like this, 1 squad per hex and depth is probably the best way to do that. All right, so we start with a wind change, no wind change. We have no rallies. I don't want to break anybody down into half squads, although that might not be a bad idea. Oh, I got to put concealment down. So everybody here is going to be concealed because they're all out of line of sight. How are we going to do this now? Let's go to prep fire, and we'll start with the tubes first. So we're going to fire tube A. This will not be concealment loss, but it will be for, not that they have it, for the guys up top. Let's fire into this hex here. It is wood, so it's going to give us the airburst effect. So spotting, let's see if we can see it first. All right, so we bypass the 2 houses, so we do see the wood. I forgot to add the +2 for spotting, so that was actually not a hit. Remember, spotters add +2 to your data roll. So this 7 actually was a 9, so that would have been a miss. So firing again with a -1 for a net gain of +1. This will be an 8, so again, it's a miss, rate of fire. Now I need a 7 or less to hit. And I roll a 9. So I've acquired twice, but I missed. Now Bravo. We're going to do the same. I need a 5 or less to hit. So that's a hit and rate. So on the IFT, we have a 5 on the 4, which is going to be a 1 check. 1 check on here. That would be a break. We may as well continue to fire. That's the only shot. So we have 2 shots, acquired twice. And we're pretty well done. Now I do have a choice. I could fire the 747s onto here. Or I could move. This would be a bypass 1, 2, bypass 3, 4, advance into U6, 7. To move or not. Now remember, I can only move 1 squad per turn number. So in this case, I have 1 plus 1 per units stack with the leader, so I could move these three back if I want to. I think I'm going to move you because you're going to get blasted and you can keep your concealment. You, on the other hand, I think it can fire. And then I can move you back. Or I just use you two guys to slow the Americans down. I think I'm going to have to do that. Alright, so let's start with this. So this is going to be 7 doubled is 14. On the 12, no modifier. 7 on the 12 should be a 2. Nope, it's a 1. 1 check for the 747, who just rolled heat of battle. Who just went berserk. Actually, that would be a surrender. He's the elite with a -1. Yeah, because he's elite, he gets a -1, makes it an 11, which means he's berserk. So we have a berserk 747. Wow. No rate of fire, so you guys are done. Now I gotta kill this unit. So let's kill the bazooka first. You're gonna fire 8 up 1 into this location here. You're gonna cower, so 5 on the 6 will be a 1 check. And you are pinned. When it comes to move, let's move you back. I can now move different units. So question is, do I fire or not? I don't think I'm going to fire. Just a berserk 747 with 10 morale. Very difficult to kill, and he's in the woods. So this would be a 6 up to the 12 for adjacent fire. So that would be a 12 flat. If I wait for him to get into my location, it will be on the 20 column flat. Or I could stay concealed and try and deal with them later on. I'm not going to fire. All right, so you're going to enter that location for 4. And you are going to fire. All right, so let's start with this guy here. He's going to fire 9, doubled for point blank is going to be 18. So on the 16 column, no modifier. 8 on the 16 is a 1 morale check. So I need a 9. He's perfectly fine. I could fire again. I did not have rate, but let's fire. The 4 would be a 2, doubled would be 4 for point blank. If I sustain fire the medium, that would be on the 8 table, but I risk breaking my medium. I think I'm going to do that. 8 flat. Yeah. All right, so this is gone. 4. I want to bump into this, but it's going to be an 8 flat shot, which is really not good. If I go in, I'll be able to strip his concealment for subsequent fire, but I'm going to get blasted in this hex when that happens. I could also come into this hex for 6 and get bounced back. That would bust this concealment, so these guys could fire. So let's do that. You're going to be 2. This will be 6. All right, you're going to get bumped back. But you're going to lose this concealment. Now, there's no point me firing. It's only a half squad. I'm aware that these guys are going to be moving next. I probably could have prep fired those guys. So let's assault into U6. KC3, fire-related anti-tank weapon. Um, from rubble ground level building, you add a +2. They're basically leaning outside the window, so they don't take the morale check for firing inside the building. So that is KC3 with a +2, to which we also add the terrain effect. And we do not add range when it comes to light anti-tank weapons, I believe. Yep, see the L here, point blank range is NA for anti-tank weapons. So we're going to have a net +3, and we have a base 9 to hit. So 6 or less to hit. That is a miss. Big Freddy on the Shrek. Almost broke it. Now we'll fire the squads. This is going to be 8 double to 16 up 1. 6 on the 16 should be a 2. 2 morale check. Alright, so first 747 is broken, and the second one is broken as well. Alright. Now you guys will fire 12 plus 3 is 15. Doubled is going to be on the 30 column, no modifier. 10 on the 30, not a good roll, is still a 2 check for that 747, who break. Movement Now I have a choice. I could start running away, or I could push the attack. I do have 2 broken units, 3 broken units from the American side. I could also fire this guy right now, which yeah, let's do that. So we're gonna have 11. Let's go back one. We'll have 11 doubled is 22. So on the 20 table, +1. We have a 5 on the 20 is a 2. Oh, a 4 check. Wow. All right, the A1 is fine, just broken, and the squad is disrupted. Right, so you're broken, disrupted because you exceeded your ELR, and you are just broken. Well, that's going to be another win for the Germans. How did the Americans win this one? Problem is I cannot get close enough to fire without breaking. German move. Once more, we're faced with a decision. Now that these guys have moved, I could bugger off at a higher rate of knots. This guy here, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, advance. He'd be off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a couple of turns. This guy would be off the map, maybe 3 turns. Off the map in 3, off the map in 3, and they would not be shot. That leaves this to withstand the German assault. And if you look at the casualty bin, we're already looking at 7-2. Which means that the Allies have to kill at least 14 and not lose anything else. And again, these guys are going to surrender because they're adjacent to the next turn, and unless the Germans do no quarter, which is very possible. So that would be actually 8 victory points for the American, for the German, and they would be a further +1 in game end because they have prisoners. So that would be 9. Again, you need to have 12 more and at least twice as many as the Germans. So I don't think the Americans can win this scenario in the last 2 attempts. This is a lot. I wasn't expecting it for this one. I thought it would be a pushover for the Americans, but it is not. Interesting scenario. Yeah, if the Americans can get close, but again, how do you survive, a 30 firepower attack in this location with no modifier because of the -1? Defensive fire is all done. Let's go to advancing fire. So we have American prep fire phase. Let's look at fire attacks. Now you guys here, let's fire the Shrek into here. Actually, we'll fire the Shrek into this location. So this is going to be +1 for woods, minus and +2 for concealment would be a total of needing a 6 to hit. 6 or less to hit. All right, so we do get a hit. Now on the 8 table, we rolled a 3. Now it's not a sniper because it's an effects roll, so it doesn't count. So we just rolled a K2. So they lose concealment. They go down to half squad status. And now we need a morale check, which they ELR and break. Now I can fire the squad, and the half squad is going to be 9 doubled as 18. So on the 16 +1, we have a 12. On the 16 will be no effect. So you guys are done. Now it's going to go for move. You guys are going to go 1, 2. That would be an 8 flat if I move into that location, which I don't think I want to do. That's fine. You can stay there. Over here, let's bring our prisoners along, and we'll bring the 8-1 as well. So we're going to go 2. You guys are going to go 1, 3, 1, 2. And defensive fire options. We only have this. Let's start with the Shrek again. Base 9 +1 is an 8 or less to hit. So we do have a hit. And then on the 12, we have an 11. 11 is going to be a miss. Miss on the 12. All right, and then we could do an 8 up 1. That is a 7 on the 8 is a 1 check. So the 226 is fine sniper, and the 747 is broken. German sniper, we have a 1. We go 4 for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're going to be the closest, which means one of you is going to be broken. All right. And then we go into advancing fire phase, of which I only have you. So you can fire on the 6, down 1. That's a 4 on the 6, which is a 2 morale check for this unit here, which they fail, so they are done. All right, now we'll go to the road phase. Again, we'll have you and you. Take your Shrek. It'll be 2, 4. And now we can go advance phase. So you'll come to there. You're going to go 1-to-1, engage in melee. You guys will come up to here. You guys will come into here. And you guys will come into the woods. Except for the broken unit will be forced to stay where they are. They do not have to retreat because they are not in open ground line of sight of the enemy. On the other hand, I could get the benefit of, or for that matter, I could move to the 7-0 because again, I do not have eyes on, so that's fine. And then we can do the close combat phase. We only had the one. Let's do that. So green is going to be a +1 for ambush, so they're at a 4. The German will be at a 2, so there's no ambush. 1 to 2 is a 4 to hit. And 2 to 1 is a 7. Alright, so I've just killed the half squad. I should not have done that. That was stupid. But you never know, I might have been able to pin him because that 12 firepower Shrek is really going to hurt, which we're about to find out. German rally phase, turn 5. We have wind change, no effect. And we have an 8 for rallying here. Nope. American, pick up that medium. Nope. That was going to be the leader. I believe that is it. So other rallies, this guy needs a 9. Barely, but he made it. This guy needs a 5. Yes. Here we need a 4. All right, a 9 and an 8. All right, so the 8 did not make it. You guys rolled heat of battle. So you're going to get this result 7. No, -1 for being elite will give us a 6, which means we have a hero created and we're battle hardened. So that means we're fanatic unit. And we have a American hero. All right, let's get into some prep fire costs, some chaos. Now we'll start with you guys here. We're just going to fire everything. You're going to be DM'd actually, so this is going to be 8. Leader directed, 8, double to 16 plus 1. 9 on the 16 should be an NMC. One check. All right, so the 9-2 is fine. The 1 medium is fine, and the bottom medium is pinned. With the -2 leader, it would be a -1, so an 8 or less should be fine. That could have been a better shot. All right, now you guys are going to fire on the prisoners with 4 firepower. Let's use the Shrek. We're going to need a 9 to hit. So we miss, and we destroyed our Shrek. Now we'll do 8 up 1. That's a coward, so we're going to have a 3 on the 6, which is a K2. All right, so we have leader, prisoner, squad. So you guys get a K6, so you're going to be reduced. I don't know who they belong to. I'll have to figure that one out. And you get casualty reduced as well. Now, that was a 3 on the 6, which is a 2 check. So now the 9-1 or 8-1 has to take a morale check, which he passes, but he's pinned. All right, now you guys have to take morale checks. So you are gone, and you are fine. So they do still count double for victory conditions. All right, so you guys are going to the axis bin. So I'll have to make sure that we check the math, make sure that it's accurate. All right, that's the prep for you. Now let's fire bazooka into the building. So we're going to need a +2 from the 9, and captured use is going to be another +2. So this will be a 5 or less to hit. All right, so we hit, and we need a 8 flat. 9 on the ace of pending task check. So 1, 2, 1 yes, 1 no. And then you guys are done as well. Now we do have movement. So you guys here are going to assault move up the hill. Yeah, 447, the 1 squad and the leader. You guys can assault move up the hill. You're gonna fire. And this will be 6, and 3 is 9. So we'll be on the 8 table. Yeah, I cannot use spotting because the minimum range is only 3. You're going to be on the 8 up 1 toward the moving units. That's going to be a 10, so that's no effect. I could final fire with 2 firepower. 2 up 1. 7 on the 2 is going to be a miss. Yeah, I missed it by 1. Alright, so you final fire, and that's all I can do there. You guys here have fired. Didn't do a lot of damage, so this is really going to hurt. Go to move, which we just did, and defensive fire. Alright, let's start with this. So we're going to go 8 and 4 will be on the 12 table with a +1. 12 off 1. Oh, that's a lot of snake eyes. 3 on the 12 is a K3. Who gets it? We have the leader. We have the broken squad, 447, and then the 467. So you're you're reduced. And now we do a K3. So 3 check for the 7-0. All right, so you are broken. 3 check for you. You're half. Three check for the 447. You're gone. So you're ELR'd. You're a half squad. And broken. And then a 3 check for you. You are just broken. All right, so good shooting guns. Now, we do have rate on this gun here, so I could fire on you. That would be an 8 down 1. Let's do that. We'll do an 8 down 1. All right, that's another good roll. So 3 on the 8 is a K2. So you are pinned. Oh, wait, sorry. Yeah, so you're a half squad. And you'll be pinned. So you don't have to fire. You guys have final fired, and that's going to be it for the fire phase. Advancing fire. You guys can fire now. This will be on the 4 plus 3 is 6. Up 1. We have a 5 on the 6. Will be a 1 morale check for the 2 337. So the top one is fine. The bottom one is fine. Sniper, we have no sniper. All right, so def, presid, and prep. All right, route phase. You guys have to move. So let's come to here and then T2. And then S3. It's a building, give us more protection in case this mortar decides to fire. He would probably be able to see this building right here. All right, so the other question is do I go into hand-to-hand? I think I do. I can come into here. I'd have a good chance of killing the 337s. Let's... How do I do this? We're 15 to 10. Are there even enough victory points left to win? We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. I cannot lose any more points. At this point, I now have to kill all the Germans without losing. 15 points would put me at 25. I would only be 10 more. There's no way I can win. Even if I kill every German, there's no way I could win unless I take prisoners. Of which I do have... No. You guys were gone. You guys came back, that's right. Yeah, I don't even have any prisoners. All right, I'm going to call this one a German win. Again, there's only 15 victory points left, and barring any prisoners, I don't think I'd be able to capture anything. There's only 4 turns left, and I have to start breaking stuff. So, yeah, I cannot afford to lose anything. This guy's going to die in the next prep fire phase. I don't see how the Germans can possibly, or Americans can possibly win unless they start taking prisoners. And we already saw what happened there. Yeah, we'll call this one an American win, or a German win, just because I don't see any way to start capturing prisoners. It's just not going to work out. All right, so that was Confusion Reigns, ASL Snare number 12. Again, this is our second video for the D-Day commemoration for our YouTube group. Hopefully you guys got some enjoyment out of that. It's a really interesting scenario, so I think I may do an initial recce on this just to further break it down, do some analysis, because right now it's a lot harder for the Americans to win than I originally thought. Setting the Germans up in depth obviously worked twice, and it kept those intervening first round shots from being very effective. Like I could not set up a high fire base because the Germans set up, so I probably could have done a little bit better with my American setup, but it is what it is. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next video. Bye-bye.